Let's go to Glenn in Germantown, Maryland. Thanks for calling the Line of Fire.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. I'll set up my question for you. I live in Maryland, which did approve of gay marriage recently, is state law. And with the Supreme Court decision, I've heard a couple of evangelical pastors actually say that it's time to recognize that we lost the battle on this issue. And rather than make it political with our neighbors or the people we share the gospel with, we should just take that off the table because what it does is it creates a stumbling block to then they see us trying to impose our minority view on a majority, and it really hinders rather than helps the gospel.
Yeah, that is basically the most suicidal, unbiblical, unwise counsel I could possibly imagine. And it's that kind of attitude. We didn't lose a battle. We capitulated. We threw in the white flag years and years and years ago. Throughout America, pastors and leaders stepped back from this years and years ago. One of my colleagues is a megachurch pastor. I won't mention the city, but in a major city in America, he meets regularly with other megachurch pastors. He told me for years he was the only one in his city who would even address, or among in his region, the only one who would even address the issue of homosexuality from the pulpit, even in terms of helping people with unwanted same-sex attractions. Glenn, when my book, A Queer Thing Happened to America, came out, publishers wouldn't touch it. They told me it's going to be a good book. It's just too much backlash. We don't dare touch it. Then when we were going to go on campuses to debate this and to model how to have these differences in a godly Christian way, so to reach out in the midst of the differences, we had Christian groups on campus tell us, if you try to do that on our campus, we will shut it down. This is absolute and complete moral and spiritual capitulation. Oh yeah, let's use the same argument during the days of slavery. And hey, let's use the same argument about abortion. Why are we fighting abortion? Why are we alienating all these people who've had abortions? Why are we making them feel bad by taking a stand? You do this in 10,000 different areas. This is where the church is called to be the conscience of the nation. This is where we're called to be salt and light. This is where we're called to swim against the tide and go against the grain. And this is how captives will be set free. If we say this is not marriage, what are we going to start doing now? What if the law becomes that we have to perform the marriages? What if your local business has to participate in it? How far does it go? What if the Christian school can't teach against it anymore? And on and on and on. This is complete spiritual and moral suicide. It is the exact opposite of what we need to be doing. The problem is, when we have addressed these issues, we've often addressed them in primarily a political way. This has nothing to do with politics to me. This is simply a matter of righteousness. This is simply a matter of loving God and loving people. I have built relationships with people that are in the homosexual community, some who were leaders, and I'd sit down and have a meal with them together, and we'd talk face-to-face candidly about our differences, and they appreciated me because they knew my heart for them as individuals. In fact, I encourage you to go online, AskDrBrown.org, and just search on my website for the gay protest that encountered the love of God. We have stood up for what's right and reached out with love at the same time, and by the grace of God, we make a difference in individual lives. And if the world hates us, the world hates us.